Things happening. Let's talk about we got screwed around a few times, right?
Yes.
And Zach saved our rear ends.
Yes, he did.
So let's look at the transition from measure 77 through measure 8. There's this little 4-bar transition. We're coming out of the mind knot part, right? Which is all into
Yes, from 2 to 4.
from 2 into 4. Quarter note equals quarter note. So anytime you see something in music that looks like this, what does that mean? What is the phrase that we use to describe what's happening right here?
I mean, it means quarter note equals quarter, but I don't know what the musical term for
The
that is.
normal musical term is metric modulation.
Isn't it, it's just stating, because before we were in, that cut time, now we've just gone back to simple time, so instead of being in, it's, anyway, so yeah, metric modulation.
Right, but this is,
It's modulating a meter,
not necessarily.
no?
No, like remember in Alyssa's cantata Domino that we sang on Thursday during rounds, there was that section that said whole note, or
It was
dotted half now equals whole. And so she had to decide, you know, based on period practice, what that was gonna mean. She ultimately decided that was gonna be sesquialturo, which meant that what was previously the sense of one now became the feeling of the half note in the next bar, or that this would start to be subdivided. So this would mean if you're going to cantate, do, mi, no, di, da, da, and all of a sudden this became half notes. Di, ba, di, ba, di, ba, di, ba, di, ba, ba, di, ba, ba. This is obviously a more complex one. This is very simple, quarter note equals quarter note. So if you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So what I want you to
So the tempo
practice,
doesn't change.
the tempo doesn't change whatsoever. And it's so critical that you are just like an absolute metronome in this section. D and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1. So we're gonna learn a gesture called a stop and a prep. And it's gonna happen on beat 2, going into figure 8. So if you go 1, yeah, so it's gonna look like this. You're gonna essentially stop on beat 2 and you're gonna subdivide in the new tempo.
And you're doing this
okay.
measure 78 going into the new tempo. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's gonna look like this. 1 and 2 and 1, 2, 3, 4. So your prep into
Oh,
79 is actually a quarter prep.
so you don't just tap, sorry, not tap, you don't be 4, I I was thinking you beat 4 and 78 to get into that, you don't do that, so you stop on 2, you wait, and then you go into 4, you
Right.
don't do that measure before to get into that,
Nope,
okay.
So-
Could you make that decision to beat not measure before and 4 if you wanted to?
That's what I have written as well.
Because of the figuration in the trumpets and
But
the,
there's still some triplets.
there
There's
is,
still
but,
some quarter-note triplets.
but you've established that
I would wonder,
already.
my comment would be,
But then
if I
again,
was a
singers
player
get-
and I saw the conductor start to do that, I would actually almost think I'm off by a bar.
Yeah.
Cause I wouldn't wanna see the subdivisions until I know I'm
that's
in
exactly
four.
the idea, Daniel?
Well, we might do that, it would be something that you would rehearse through.
Yeah,
But then again, I
Yeah.
have the other thought that, a lot of times singers need help with their triplets.
That's what I thought so too.
Okay,
Singers need that kind of help. Whereas if you start beating against their 3, they're gonna go, what am I doing?
so in my experience, what I've done here, and Donna and I were actually just talking about this before we came in, is exactly what I'm instructing, and I've just trained the sopranos and altos to feel the triplet against the subdivision. Nor the mothers in treaties make even the tresses. So that you get, nor the mothers in treaty did da da be da 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 ba.
So like you're beating half of it and
Yeah,
2 and then
because-
the other half.
I was trying to pick that on some of the recordings I was watching, and I was trying to say, well, he's not actually conducting a four there, but he was doing exactly that little.
Subdivision on
That's
the
what it
end of
was.
2.
I couldn't figure that out, okay.
So if you go 1 and 2 and 1 and stop and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4.
Yeah.
So let's say that. 1 and 2 and 1 and stop and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Good.
1, 2,
Yeah. That way you'll get more of a pop on the trumpet part that Daniel's talking about. Bop, bop, ba da da.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's all have Zach play and we'll conduct that together. So this is bar 77 where we're starting, Zach.
2 before rehearsal.
Minus 130.
Yeah, 2 before 8. Alan just said he wrote the numbers in wrong. It happens to the best of us.
No, I just kept going.
I think I wrote it
one
wrong,
up. So
yeah.
I was in the
Is this the pickup
So
to
I'm gonna
80?
go and I'm gonna erase
So
it.
rehearsal
bars
8.
before 8.
Is bar 79 in my book.
Okay.
2 bars before 8 is
It's 2
bar
bars before
77.
Correct.
Okay, yeah, I messed up. Alright.
That's what I got.
What?
Yep.
2 before,
Okay, wait.
4, 4.
Here we go. Ready? And 1 and 2 and 1 and stop and 1, 2, 3. Good. Let's try it again. Good. Let's try it again. Ready? And 1 and 2 and 1 and stop and 1, 2, 3. My opinion is that anything different than that starts to become very cumbersome. So if we try, Daniel, why don't you try what you were suggesting? Let's try conducting in 4 beforehand.
Okay.
Sister and a sing, please.
So